Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the CAPP Show. You can catch us live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on Brime at brime.tv/the CAPP Show. We are also on other social platforms such as Spotify, Red Circle, Rumble, and Twitter, all at the CAPP Show. I'm Brent.
And I'm Jeremy. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about war. That ugly three-letter word that seems to be going around on everybody's lips lately. And rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of different things going on. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to discuss our opinions and our ideals, and we're going to look at different statements that are being made and different things that are unfolding. So one of the first things I want to start off with is I want to talk about NATO. I keep hearing a lot of people ask about NATO. A lot of people don't understand what it is. I even saw a tweet today where someone said the entire assembly of NATO initially was to help fend off the Soviet Union. But when they collapsed back in the 1990s, why did we keep NATO? I think it's a good question, but I think I have an answer for that question. So you ever wondered that? Brent?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I see why they kept it. But
well, they kept it to ensure the safety and sovereignty of the European region, of all of Europe, right? And also it allows the U.S. and its allies, parts of NATO, to be able to be more strategically placed throughout the world, right? Whether that be other places in Europe, other locations like other countries of Europe, or even North America or Asia. I mean, that all kind of rolls into it because we can say, hey, they're an allied partner of ours, so we're going to have them with us. For instance, here in Colorado, where I live, Colorado Springs, where I live, is home of North American Air Defense. It is not unusual for me to see NATO military members here on the bases.
Oh.
And living in the communities. I mean, it's
fair enough.
You can always tell when a different nation has the helm, has the command helm for a time, because the flags on Peterson Space Force Base, used to be Air Force Base, they change to whoever's in command. So you always have the main nation that's in command in the center flagpole, and on either side, you'll have either the U.S. flag, because we're on U.S. soil, and generally the co-commander, which is generally a Canadian flag. So those kind of alternate. But I've seen a lot of those jump into, I've seen where a lot of times the Canadian flag is the center post. And then they'll have the third flag as a Colorado flag because we're in the state of Colorado. So
interesting.
But NATO has a big role to play in everything. But what concerns me more about what NATO is doing now is generally NATO is concerned with trying to protect its own entities and countries, right? There are 30 members of the NATO alliance from North America and Europe. And what the hell is going on? Sorry, I'm here and stomping through the house. My apologies. So, live show, guys.
Excuse me.
So we have these nations that are there to kind of work as one force and help protect one another, you know, because individually these smaller nations can be can be overwhelmed pretty quickly. But if you've got friends and allies, right, it's like being the nerd in school, right? If you're the nerd in school, you're probably the little guy, and you're probably the tiny dude that gets picked on. You're the smart one, but you get picked on a lot. And how do you defend yourself? Well, you try to make friends with the biggest and baddest motherfucker on the corner. That's how you do it, or the craziest. Generally not the craziest though, because they're crazy.
Predictable.
Very unpredictable. But what concerns? So that's what NATO does, and that's who they are. And they're concerned with maintaining that peace and maintaining that. I've seen some questions say, well, how come they haven't set up a no-fly zone? Well, the Ukraine is not part of NATO. And if you go back and you look at there's publicly available information out there where you can actually see flights and airplanes and tail numbers and see what kind of missions are being flown by NATO. There's a lot of missions being flown to see what's happening, and they're watching. So they've got the European AWACS that's up there. As a matter of fact, I've got a video I can show you guys. It's from the BBC, BBC News. It came out 2 days ago, where they're actually on board a NATO AWACS. And they kind of explain a little bit more depth as to what is going on and what their mission is. So let me pull this up here. And
this is what's known as NATO's
you guys hear that?
Eyes in the Sky. And up there you can see a radar dome because it's a surveillance plane. Now, we're told operations from this base in Western Germany have really intensified since the Russian invasion. This flight's about to take off, and we're going to be on it. So we're on board a Boeing 707, and it's not exactly a passenger plane. For one thing, there are hardly any windows. It is, in fact, a flying office, and as you can see, a pretty extraordinary one.
Yeah, they haven't set up a sensor area yet, so.
We are in Polish airspace, and we are located roundabout at the Belarusian and Ukrainian border.
I am Staff Sergeant Bob here. I'm the radar technician, and I'm in charge of the radar. We use it to scan the air.
Right here, we've got a surveillance team who is responsible for producing recognized air picture.
With our radar, we're able to see pretty far out, and then whatever we do see, we report that.
That's very important. They won't fly over the Ukraine. It's not a member of the alliance. That's very important. Now, if things start escalating, and they might, that will change.
In a hurry.
Yeah, real quick, in a hurry.
But the challenge of this mission is that suddenly it is in your own backyard. If it is somewhere else, you don't feel as anxious as we are doing now. But knowing this is Europe, it gives you a little bit of an extra tension in there.
We've been in the air about 5 hours now, and we're in Polish airspace, sort of doing a figure of 8. But we've been told we're going to be in the air an extra 2 hours. Seems they want to keep going, keep collecting information.
We definitely detected a large number of Russian or Belarusian aircraft that marshaled in Belarus and then ingressed into Ukraine for probably about 20 minutes and then egress back to the north. So we were able to see that occurring in real time and report it up.
NATO is sometimes accused in this situation of just watching on. Does it feel like that's what you're doing?
I don't think so. again, our role is to protect NATO territory and ensure the sovereignty of NATO airspace.
That's very important what he just said. That is
Yes.
what I'm trying to clue in on and key in on, and that some folks are not understanding, and not necessarily not understanding, just not agreeing with in most cases. Right? So it's important that we have to be very careful. We as in NATO, we as in the US, we as in North America, Canada included, we all have to be very careful with this because there's several things that can happen here. One, if we cross a line that could be seen as interference, which I'm seeing tweets that line might be getting crossed, and that concerns me. If that starts happening, that could provoke Putin to do worse things. He has threatened launching nuclear missiles already at Europe. I know that we can protect Europe to a certain level. That's all I'll say about that. But if that happens, if something is launched at Europe, and NATO in general from the Russian Minister of Defense or Ministry of Defense or whatever they're called, retaliation is probably something that will happen. To what level, I don't know. I'm not clued into that. I don't have a clue as to what the actual retaliation would be. I just know that something would happen. I'm concerned that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it will. It absolutely will. So before the show, before every show, Brent and I always get together and we talk about things and we talk about what we're going to, the topics, and we go over certain things today. One of the things that Brent brought up, I think, is a very important thing when he was talking about the sanctions. Brent, I want you, if you can, go ahead and share with everyone what you were saying about the sanctions and its effects.
From the get-go, when this all kicked off and the first thing they started was with sanctions, my first thought turned to the oil, straight out. The problem being, I'm not in government, so I don't know what their theories, anything, right? The problem is with the sanctions that they're putting on, the only thing they're doing is they're actually hurting the people of Russia even more, not necessarily the Kremlin. The reason I say that is I'll have to look, so I might need clarification, but I think it's $600 million a month he does with the energy to Germany, or is it Germany, Poland? If you really want to hit them, and I mean hit them hard, there are two countries that need to stand up, which frankly, right now, and this is why I say this, they're not doing it. Canada and the US. If you want to sanction them, stop bringing in their oil. Full stop, period. The problem with that is they can't. Why? Because both of us rely on it, because both of our governments have decided to annex and basically say fuck you to our energy independence here by stopping the Keystone XL on the US side. Not only that, internally, our own government and province to our east stopped us even with ours internally getting it out there to help them get off foreign oil. And that's the thing. Why not be energy independent? Well, the argument. I'm in Canada. Sorry to clarify. I'm just looking at the Brime chat here. I'm in Canada. You know, there's got to be a good reason, and I don't see it. The best thing to do if you want to stop Putin from getting money is stop taking oil.
Yeah.
All you're doing is you're not hitting him when you're sanctioning all these dignitaries that they are. You're hurting them and their families, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're hurting the people of Russia. You're not necessarily hurting
Yeah.
the government, the Kremlin, as you said.
Exactly, right? You're just not. Stop taking the oil. To me,
Yeah,
that
and,
would be,
we've got within the Brime community, we have a large portion of people. Well, we have a lot of people that are Russian in our community, and one of the things that we have been able to keep tabs on is what's going on through them. Now, there have been rumors, and there has been talk of the Russian government actually cutting off the internet. And that, if that happens and we lose all of our contact with our Russian brethren,
that's bad.
that's going to be very bad. And it was somebody who spoke out today and said that if that is coming, there's something big happening. I did see just before we went live, Netflix has suspended its service in Russia. There's been many others that have suspended actions. I heard yesterday, I think it was, that Microsoft has officially pulled out of Russia. So there's no support for them anymore. So all this leads up to something I mentioned at the beginning of the show, was a tweet that I saw that kind of concerns me when it comes to NATO. And let me share this with you so you guys can see. So, U.S. Senator Blinken, and yes, that's his real name, has apparently said that the U.S. has given the green light to NATO to provide the Ukraine with fighter jets. This is
That's not, that is borderline. No, it's not. That even, and this is what I have a hard time with. Right? How far is it before it's classified as foreign interference? Especially when they're not part of a certain agreement.
Exactly.
Are they not? I mean, to me, that sounds like they're, even Canada, sending over the guns, right?
Yeah.
I understand we want to help them, and they need all the help they can get. But at the same time, that is classified to me as foreign interference.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though
I
we
agree.
have agreements with them, but it's a slippery slope.
It is. It is absolutely slippery slope. And as you can see here, there's some of the thread, people feel the same way. Major escalation, and then we're seeing pictures like this, 500 kilogram Russian bomb. That's a big fucking bomb.
That's huge.
That's massive. So I'm kind of torn, right? I'm torn because I feel, as a human being, I feel for these people. I feel for everyone that this is affecting. Doesn't matter what nationality you are. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, what your ethnic background is. This is affecting people all over the planet, not just in that area. That area really bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's not. I'm not trying to say that it's affecting everyone equally. I mean, Brent and I have the opportunity to continue to do our show, whereas these guys are watching their economies collapse. They're getting arrested for having information on their cell phones. They're getting I mean, they're losing access to everything. You know what their currency is going completely to nothing. I mean, where a virtual currency in a video game is worth more. You know,
Yeah.
that's how pathetic it is getting, you know, and I, as much as I think we would like for, you know, the Kremlin to be punished and try to get them to stop doing what they're doing, I think that the Russian people are being affected more than the Kremlin is. And
Yeah.
I think that's wrong. I think that's really wrong. You know, I am I am all for kicking with somebody in the fucking teeth that they need to be kicked in the teeth, but you know, sometimes is it really the right person that's getting kicked in the teeth? Or is it being deflected and harming people that we're not intending to harm? You know, I mean, I know people all across the United States right now that we have our brothers and sisters, and we have our sons and daughters, aunts and uncles. We've got all those people that are in the US military that and those guys, those people, they're terrified of what's going to happen. They've, you know, I mean, I get it. I get it. You know, you join the military looking for stability, but there's always that opportunity or that chance, not opportunity, but that chance that it could all go to hell. And guess what? You signed that dotted line for a reason.
Yeah.
I just I feel for them. But at the same time I don't. Now, what does this aircraft thing mean? I don't know yet. It remains to be seen. I hope that it's a indicator of, you know, Putin steps back and says, "Oh shit, maybe we need to rethink this." That's best case scenario, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is what happens when you corner an attacking dog? What happens when you corner a vicious animal of any kind?
They will strike back.
They strike back, and they generally are very erratic about it. There's no rhyme or reason for doing what they do, and they just
Yeah. And see, that's how you can kind of look at that. And then the response, of course, of always the attacker is, well, why did he snap? Because you pushed him
Exactly.
into a fucking corner.
Yep. Many
Right?
years ago, when I was training in kung fu, we had this student who was learning kung fu with us. He had already studied in taekwondo for many years, so he had his black belt in taekwondo. Very talented kid. He was looking to broaden his horizons, which I appreciate. Any martial artist that does that, that's an extra check mark in my book. And we had him training with a new student who was doing what's called Hungar, which is a southern Chinese kung fu system. Focuses a lot on handwork and very strong hand techniques. Well, we had them kind of spar up a little bit to kind of see what differences are. Well, this kid, they're both kids, but this one kid who never really done anything for very much, came in and he was using what's called a smother tiger claw technique, where he's doing this. And he did that, and he backed up the other kid, the taekwondo kid, into the corner. And with all the discipline, all the training that he had, it freaked him out. And he just started lashing out randomly at everything, with everything that he knew. I mean, he hit the kid. Thankfully, the kid was a really big dude and could take the hit, but he hit him, and that's when I had to step in and stop it, right? Because he got back to in the corner, he freaked out, he didn't know what to do. I'm afraid that if we push too hard, that's what's going to happen here. And he's got his finger on the button to be able to eliminate humanity on this planet.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
So I got a question. I was under the assumption that right now with the internet, everybody was blocking anything coming out of Russia.
Not everything is being blocked.
Okay. Because TASS.com, I've never heard of them before, but it looks like they're a Russian news agency. So I was just curious about that.
I am not familiar with that one.
No, neither am I. That's why I was just wondering, because a little suspicious.
Yeah, I know that I was hanging out on Brime earlier, and there were 2 Russian streamers that were streaming, which I hadn't seen neither one of those streaming since this all began. So that was kind of refreshing to see them streaming.
Yeah.
But it is kind of, I think it's middle of the night over there for them. So they're probably, most of that area is asleep. I think so. App.
So how far do you think this is going to go? Which, I guess the question is, which side is going to break first? Do you think they're going to push him so far that he's going to do something? Or do you think NATO is going to push too hard and overstep, which in my eyes, like I said before, I think they've already done that by supplying them with weapons. And I have nothing against it. I agree with it. They need their help, but it goes back to, do they break that by doing that? To me, and that's the way I would look at it, right? Because look at what happened in Canada with the convoy. They preached it on foreign interference financially. And less than 48 hours later, they're doing the exact same thing with a different country. That's why I have an issue with it.
Yeah, I
Yep.
You can read that if you want, Brent. Go ahead and read that out loud.
Okay. So in our live chat, we have somebody that said, I feel like it will be NATO and US intelligence. We're the USA. I'm sure we have some kind of secret knowledge, intel. If someone gets bad, or if if something gets bad, we will act before Putin can. Yes and no, to a certain extent.
Okay.
But I say that from a civilian side. Okay. I've seen some very strange things. I've been in some very strange places on the internet. I've seen some dark things that suggest, yeah, you are correct. They do. But like I say, to a certain extent. Question is, can they use it? Right? Because with some of the defenses that they have, in order to use them, they need to have great justification first, because there's extreme ramifications if not.
Right. Well, that's why I said earlier that if things were to get launched at Europe, I mean, we are kind of covered, if you will, but not impenetrable. What I was trying to say. But I mean, so the title of the show today is War Coming. Well, there's no simple answer for that. There's no yes, there's not, it's not a yes and it's not a no.
Possibly.
It's a possibility. It always is a possibility at any given moment in time. Any time of the day, any day of the week, any month of the, any second of the day. You never know. All I can say is we prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yes.
And that goes for any nation that is concerned, and citizen. Absolutely, citizens too. Don't think this is just a government level thing. This is not just a government level issue. This goes all the way down to every man, woman, and child on the face of this planet. That if that motherfucker goes crazy, yeah.
You know what? Can we just go back? Sorry, I just wanted to go back
Yes.
to the his comment about he feels like it will be NATO and the U.S. intelligence. I want to speak just a small amount to that.
Sure.
I'm not going to disagree with that. For the simple fact that it appears that NATO is always looking towards the Western countries to see what they want to do. And kind of everybody follows suit. I think the guy you have in charge right now, and I can't say the words, just because to me that position has been desecrated, but that's just
tainted.
my opinion. Yeah.
Tainted.
For a bit. He doesn't know what he's talking about at the time. First off, something's going to be said, something's going to be done. Now, whether it's something that the US or Canada even says to provoke another kind of response from another ally, so that, of course, there's plausible deniability on somebody's account of what happened. But I don't think you're wrong when you say it's going to be, but I think you should lump Canada in with that, because there's more at play than what anybody sees. The problem is we don't know what it is. And we never will. Barring some fucking miracle, which could happen. Right? I mean, and the reason I say that is everything's a secret.
Yeah, secrets are everywhere.
Right? Look how long people have wanted the secrets of Area 51.
Or who shot JFK.
There's so many of them. And nobody has the answers to them.
What happened in Roswell?
What's that?
What happened in Roswell?
Well, that weather balloon. I mean, it just... Fucking scientists, man. They should develop better stuff.
Yeah, and it is interesting that you brought up Area 51 and Roswell, right? What's that?
Hoping, I'm just saying, dude. There's a lot at play.
There is,
right? Because look at where we're all looking. But did anybody look at the 95 pages of documents from Pfizer?
Oh, I did. They're redacted like a son of a bitch.
Well, this is what I'm saying, and I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy theorist here, okay? Just give me 2 seconds, because for decades and decades we've been pumped, and I'm not excusing anything that's ever been done, right? But everything in the media has always been, these people are negative, these people are negative, these guys are a threat, these guys are a threat. But what they're showing to everybody else is all propaganda. What we see out of these countries are all propaganda. Why is one okay and not the other? Why is everything that we look at our news, even though we've known over the last 2 years now that the media outlets, both Canada, US, across the world, have lied to their citizens?
Well, not just 2 years. I'd say the last 6 to 8 years or more.
Yeah, exactly. So why are we taking what's going on right now at face value without questioning it? And why is there so much pushback, and I'm sure at some point somebody's going to see this and we're going to probably get this censored, but fuck it, whatever. But why is there so much pushback against somebody questioning the mainstream media? For the simple fact that if it was full truth, it wouldn't be censored because the truth doesn't mind being questioned.
That's a fact. That is a fact. You know, I live by those words that I will speak what I know to be true.
Yep.
And if it's questioned, okay, it's questioned. Let's talk. Change my mind, as Steven Crowder says. You know,
Right.
I'm open for
Well,
discussion.
The thing is when you're having a discussion with somebody, and I come across this quite often, right? So when you present them with a fact, okay, a straight out fact that cannot be denied, there will always be a question.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because now you're forced to explain it again, and they come back to the same question because there is no proof that they are correct. It's a circle of questions, right?
Yeah.
It's deniability.
Well, and that's the basis of science, right? The basis of
Yes.
science is ask why or
Yep.
what. Question everything. And then when you start questioning things now, like, you know, like the COVID-19 stuff, everybody's like, well, you should just trust the science. As a scientist, engineer, still a scientist, the way I see it is my job is to question everything. And I do
Yep.
question everything. It's like, why? Why is this like this? Or why is this such a big deal? Or why is this narrative being pushed? There's something else going on. There's something else underlying. It's like,
Yeah.
why is Russia invading Ukraine? Okay. I mean, there's plenty of, we're not even going to go into that. There's plenty of other explanations out there on the internet. You guys can go and check that out. And I highly recommend you do. And don't look at it from one side. Don't look at just CNN or just Fox News or Newsmax or whatever the fuck you're looking at. Look at everything. Draw your own conclusions. Understand it from multiple views to get the right conclusion. I mean, it's like an argument. You know, there's three sides to every story: his, hers, the truth. Plain and simple, right? And not all three of those are different. Generally.
Yep.
So, when you start questioning things, you start asking these questions. You ask them, say, okay, why does this make sense, or why does this not make sense? If I ask a question of, okay, why is it so important that I go get an untested shot put into my body? Why? Well, because you're trying to protect the community. Okay, why? Well, because we're trying to protect the community. Okay, why? What are you trying to protect them from? Are you trying to protect them from something that is going to kill them? Well, yes. Okay, the data would suggest otherwise. Right? So I've had this discussion, had this argument, but I'm getting off topic here, but my point is,
Fine.
You need to go out and you need to look at everything and ask the questions why. Why is Putin doing this? There has to be an underlying answer there. And there is. The answer is there. Just got to go find it. Me
But
personally,
you might not like it though.
you may not like it. And that's the shitty part. You may not like what you see.
But remember, it's okay to be offended. Because you don't agree with it and it might offend you, that's fine. Doesn't mean that what offends you isn't true.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, no.
One of the things that we hear that Brent and I try to do is we try to just talk about these things and we get the discussion going. We're not going to go through and we're not going to fact check everything for you. We're not going to show you all the resources for everything. We want to get the mind going. We want you to think about these things. We want you to consider different viewpoints, right? I watch regularly. I watch more conservative, libertarian style stuff because that's more my viewpoint. Plus, I look at a lot of military shit because, well, I'm a veteran. I'm a military guy. That's what I've known for the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years, 30 years. At least 30 years. I'm not that old yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet.
Just a couple more.
Couple more. But we want to spark the conversation, and we're here to talk. You know, that we may not make rhyme or reason about half the shit we talk about, and sometimes people in the chat or people watching this or listening to this are probably going, well, these guys are fucking idiots.
Probably.
Okay, we're not going to argue that.
No,
we both think we're fucking idiots.
Probably more so than most people.
Yeah, probably. But we like to just talk and get the ideas going, and just kind of shoot the shit about random things. And right now in the world, we've got a war brewing, and I will tell you, back to my topic, and back to where I was going with this. If you're not worried, you should be. Everyone should be.
Yes.
And everyone should be trying. I don't care where you are. I don't care who you are. Everyone should be trying to figure out, how can I help? Start looking around. Start talking to people. Start digging. Start researching. And not necessarily the internet. Go to your library. Start going through books. Look at history. If you don't want to do that, fine, don't. But don't come bitching to me because, well, why couldn't you guys do something? You guys being the U.S. military or the Canadian military or whatever, or NATO or whatever the fuck. Well, how come you couldn't do something? I'm just one person. Yeah. It only takes one person to stand up.
Yep.
Only one.
I just want to listen. I don't typically point out shit on Twitter and stuff, but something that makes me appreciate the man just a little bit more than I already did. I'll share this because I'm sure you've seen this. I want you to read this right here.
Elon Musk, can you blow that up a little bit?
Well, how the hell we
actually, no. That? I'll do it.
Oh, actually, here.
I did it on my end.
You got it? Okay.
I forgot that I have the window in a very small window.
Starlink has been told by some governments, not the Ukraine, to block Russian news sources. We will not do so unless at gunpoint. This right here, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Free speech is free speech. Regardless whether it's propaganda or not.
So you know what gives this more merit and more oomph, if you will? For people that don't know, Elon Musk is South African.
Yep.
Not from the United States. He's from South Africa.
Yeah, I just thought I thought you guys should see that, because to me that's yeah, no, that fucking
fact.
Hats off to him.
That is a fact.
Yep. No, like I say, I just wanted to point that out because that is one. When I seen that tweet, I went, he gets it.
Yeah, no, he does.
He gets it.
He does. You know, I know that there are some folks out there that will disagree, and they will say that, oh, Elon Musk is he's a shit person. He's an asshole. He's a businessman, and he's an entrepreneur, and he is at the forefront of space. don't give a shit what anybody says. Space and technology, he is at the forefront of it.
Yep.
Um,
I think if he starts tweeting out in one direction or the other, I think that is where you're going to see the truth come out.
Yep.
Right?
Do I agree with everything he has said and done? No.
No.
I don't.
Nope.
You know, just like every president that I've ever served under, I've not agreed with everything they've said and done.
No. I don't think anybody should.
No. Well, I'm going to vote for this guy because he is got a D next to his name, or he's got an R, or he's got an I, or he's got an
Well, that's
L.
how my
know.
family has always done it.
It's, you know, and then at the same time, you know, I see people, well, I'm not voting for that guy because I'm voting for this other guy because he's the lesser of two evils. Lesser of two evils is still an evil.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
But that's how some people have to justify their choices.
Yep.
Right? Because they don't have a legitimate justification for it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
But
you know, I got to share this. This is funny. You guys are gonna like this. This goes along the lines of what you were talking about earlier with the independents.
Yep.
I'm helping. Okay. No, you're not, but okay.
That is a beautiful picture.
Yeah, I've seen others where it's like, yeah, we're not supporting you. We're not going to support you, but it shows, you know, the president, the U.S. president, pumping gas, and it shows Putin behind the gas pump with a basket collecting all the money that's coming out of it.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's true, right?
Yeah,
that's where his money is coming from.
It is. It's sad. My heart goes, like I said earlier, my heart goes out to the people around the world. My heart goes out to the people in the Ukraine, in Russia, that are being affected by all this,
and the surrounding as well.
Yep,
because they're all suffering, man. I mean, you know, whether it's directly or indirectly.
Yep, absolutely. So with that, I mean, we're gonna start wrapping it up here. So you can catch us on Twitter. We're out there at the CAPP Show on Twitter. You can hit us up. You can follow us. We don't really post a lot right now. We're trying to get more active on social media with that. As we start progressing, you can shoot us an email at the CAPP Show, thecappshow@gmail.com. You can always stop in there and
do we have a link for the Discord?
I have not put a link for the Discord.
No, that's fine.
I can absolutely do that if you give me 1 second.
Sure. Because there's a section in there where you guys can leave feedback or questions or topics you guys want us to speak on. We'll give you our opinions from our sides. Again, Jeremy's in the US. I'm in Canada. Believe it or not, we've actually never met in real life, or in person to person, I should say. In real life. Fuck, I hate that term. I don't know why I use it, but in person to person, we haven't. But we've created quite the friendship.
There's a Discord invite.
4 or 5
You can
years?
also do a search for the CAPP Show.
Yes. Twitter, Rumble, Red Circle as well, and Spotify. And I believe YouTube. We do have YouTube.
We are
now.
on YouTube. I haven't really built that yet. I've just started updating stuff.
No.
So if you want to search for this, you can search for the CAPP Show on Discord. I guess I should finish writing that out so you guys can see it. There you go. For the CAPP Show on Discord, you can jump in there. You can chat with us. Brent and I hang out. We're in multiple channels, but you can always drop in there. We
Yeah,
tend
shoot us a
to.
message.
I've been posting some stuff in the Discord for people to look at. But please feel free to join us and chat with us. But yeah, you'll catch us on brime.tv/the Show. We are here live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And
Yeah,
Brent has this spiel that he gives at the end of every show, and my friend is off to you.
We just want you to expand your mind. Look outside of the box that we've all been given. Everybody, and this, we're all the different. Where we have to come together, and here's what Jeremy talks about is follow the 3 R's. Most people do 2 out of the 3. About 90% of people are missing the third one. That is receive, reflect, respond. Most people love to receive and respond and not reflect. Reflect. You might not like what you reflect on, but it'll help you think a little bit more clearly. Yeah. I wish everybody the best of days, and all the best to you guys out there. What else we got? That's about it.
That's about it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today.
Thank you
and we'll
for
see you
everybody
all
that's
next
new.
week.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter.
Have a good day. Have a good
Have
week.
a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye here.